You are welcome to the Naija Filmmaker, a podcast about Nigerian filmmakers, their films, and how we can build a diverse and functional industry. I'm your host, Selegot. On this episode, my guest is Mr. Mautin. He's a talent manager, film and media catalyst. He spends his time managing and investing in talent. We talk about talents building their brand, his involvement in Mami Wata, and how bespoke film marketing can uplift the viability of films. If you're a new listener, you're welcome and I hope you enjoy. Hi, Mr. M. You're welcome to the Naija Filmmaker.
Thank you for having me, Sele. How's it going?
It's going well. How was your day?
Well, it's been what it is from one meeting to another. But we're here now.
Okay. That's great. Okay, so can you introduce yourself?
My name is Olonleke Mautin. I'm a film and media catalyst and talent manager. And what else? Human. That's all.
Okay. All right. Can you tell us about your first foray into the film industry?
My first foray into the film industry, I can't really remember the year, but I remember I wouldn't know if that would count as my first foray, but I know I used to do skit making and all of that. But when eventually we decided to go into the journey of filmmaking, it was my first project was a film that I had produced alongside my longtime partner, Gechi Salvador, which is called Lagos Vibes. I think this was in 2016, thereabouts. I think it was 2016, 2017. So we had shot Lagos Vibes. It was a dramatic comedy that had Said Balogun, Josh Tufoni. At the time, Josh Tufoni was just starting out, still very much new in the scene. Yeah, this was in 2016 actually. We had Said Balogun, Josh Tufoni, we had Fish the Entertainer, we had Sukome Mabalale, and a host of others that I can't seem to remember right now. But yeah, we did Lagos Vibes, and he ended up on Africa Magic family, and it was a good one. And after that, it felt like it was something that we could give more shots, and then it's been onward. We shot a couple of TV films, the likes of Love is the Six-Letter Word, A Dream Called Death. Not so much that I can remember right now. Then in 2021, we shot Tower Savage, which was our first cinema project. And ended up at the cinema. It was the second highest grossing during its release window. The first was Funka Akindele's Omogeto, the saga. So yeah, it's been just that. And then after Tower Savage, we got involved in the production of Mami Wata in the capacity of executive producer, and that's pretty much about it. I really do not necessarily remember details because I'm always just focused on the next big thing. So most of the things that have happened in the past, I really do not keep much records of it because there's so much more to happen.
All right, so let's talk about your job as a talent manager.
Well, a talent manager is responsible for the day-to-day activities of a talent, not necessarily day-to-day activities, but how an actor is being perceived as a brand, their perception, the kind of projects they get on, the business side of the talent, as well as the human side of the talent as well. So a talent manager manages the entire affair of a person and takes them from being just an actor to being a brand, to see, the reason why you will call this person, the reason why you will call Kelechi Udegbe the performer is because there was a talent manager involved in the branding process, amongst other things. The reason why you see Uzo's journey transform from just being an actor, the dark horse, to now this person that is known as the Minister of Happiness is literally because there is a brand, there is a talent manager involved in the branding. So to simply put it, a talent manager is the catalyst of an actor's journey in his industry. So it takes him from point A to point Z, it takes him from point 0 to point 100 by creating the necessary strategies needed for the growth and expansion of his brand.
Okay. So it sounds like a really intense job.
Yeah, I mean, the way I've explained it is just the short form of it, but there's so much more that goes into it. More like deciding on how you want the brand to be perceived, the emotions you want to be related to the brand, how they avoid staying out of controversies, amongst other things, how they give their best to their job, how you add value to them and see that they get on projects that are worthy of recognition, amongst many other things. The work of a talent manager is broad. It's not just about the fact that, oh, let's just manage this person. It's much more about understanding. On some days, you're like their best friend. On some days, you're their therapist. On some days, you're their manager. On some days, you're like their errand boy. It is just a bunch of different things. And everything works together in order to make the brand grow and increase visibility, brand visibility.
Okay. So I guess for some talents, both actors and let's say directors and cinematographers, maybe some of them might not have, talent managers. What disadvantages does that have on, potentially have on their careers?
So really, it depends on your craft. Not everybody necessarily needs a talent manager. Some needs a talent agent because what they need is to get more jobs and the likes. So talent agents are necessarily in that sphere of the industry where they have all the necessary connections, links, and everything to get you more jobs. So as a writer, as a director, and whatnot, you might necessarily not need a manager. What you need is an agent if what you're trying to get is more jobs. But if you're not trying to now not just be a director, you want to be perceived as a brand, you need a manager because your manager would help you to create strategies that helps you to increase visibilities, add more value to the brand, and show that you're like a thought leader in your industry. At that point, you know that you're not just going to be directing anymore. You could be offering classes, you could be like an influencer for your part of the industry. So at that point, you need a manager. But if you're just trying to really get more gigs and you really do not care about having a face to your brand and people knowing who you are as a person and who you are as a brand, then you necessarily don't need a manager. You might as well just go for an agent so you can get more jobs. But if you literally want to be in people's face, you want to be in that sphere whereby they know that, oh, this is a celebrity, this is a band, this person is so much more than an actor, then you need a manager. So that's the difference.
Okay. And for you, like, how do you vet talent that you eventually would accept, kind of managing their careers?
Well, so first thing first is the talent has to be there. I have to recognize that there's a talent there, first of all. When the talent is there, the next thing I look for is personality, because I am of the opinion that the talent isn't the only thing that makes the brand. The personality makes the brand. Because if you're talented and you somehow have a terrible attitude, you literally would end up ruining the entire purpose of your brand. So once I realize that there is an identified talent, I take my time to now pay more attention to this person, notice them, see how professional they are. Yeah, professionalism too is very important. You can be talented and not be professional. Is this an hobby for you, or this is a job, or this is a lifestyle for you? All of these things are things that adds to the personality of the person that I'm observing. So I have an observation period that the moment I see someone is talented, I like to give myself the observation period. It could last for a year, just to see the jobs that they get on, just to see how they are as a person, how they think, what their online behavior is, and the views they share on certain things, their ideologies, amongst other things. All of these things comes together to inform my decision on whether to take on this person or not. Because like I said, it's really not just the talent that makes the brand, the personality too makes the brand. So unless we align on certain goals together, that I'm very sure that I wouldn't have a problem dealing with this person, then really there is nothing. And also that aside too, I also always like to do the screen test to see what they look like on screen, because I'm very strategic about the people that I manage, and I try as much as possible that one person is not directly in competition with another person that I manage. And also, you are serving a need in the market. I like to pay attention to the market. Who is the person that is missing in this industry? What is their facial features supposed to look like? What is their physical features supposed to look like? So all of these things to come together to inform my decision. So if I feel like you have a certain look that can be like a selling point, and you have the talent, you have the great personality as well, so you are a go-getter, then trust me, definitely going to reach out, or might not reach out. I might just position myself in a way that will make you come and meet me and say, okay, Mr. M, you've been doing all of this. Why don't we just manage me? Because sometimes I like that you want it. I like that this person is wanting it, and not that this person, I'm asking this person to know if I can manage them. When they come wanting it, it shows that they know that they need it, and the value will be there. It will be more valuable for them because they know that they want it. Not that me. It's almost like I'm going to be selling myself to them to say, oh, I think I need to manage you and all of that. Sometimes they might take it for granted because they really do not see the work of a talent manager. But a talent manager also is responsible for a brand visibility. The reason why you see certain brand and they call a name and it doesn't come top of the mind is because maybe there isn't anybody working on the PR and visibility of the brand. But as a manager, you work on the PR and the visibility of your brand, of your actors as well too. Gigs that you get them on. You're also responsible for the booking and the scheduling, projects, overall strategy. You can decide in a year, we're trying to get this person to be in this position. So we are moving him from just being a YouTube face to a cinema face. There are certain strategies that you have to employ in order to make that happen. So for you to now put all of those work in, and then someone doesn't really see the value in it or appreciate it, it can be very, how do I put it, challenging and somehow discouraging. So I like to know that this person wants to be managed as much as I want to manage them. So that way we are aligned on our goals and vision for their brand.
What are some of those practices that are common, like within the talent space, regarding like that you think are generally harmful?
Well, this is a very tricky question. Practices that are very harmful to the projection of people's careers. Sometimes, in some cases, it could be certain views shouldn't be made public. If you have opposing views, contrary to what the popular opinion is, sometimes you can decide to keep it to yourself. Like, for example, some humans are homophobic, right? But as an actor, as a celebrity, you cannot come out categorically state that you're homophobic. That is an entire diss to a particular community. So these views should be kept to yourself. So again, it could be a problem of being too outspoken. So you have to watch certain things that you have opposing views on, and keep it to yourself, because it doesn't have to be in the public space. That's one. Two, sometimes as well too, so we practice in Nollywood, and you have to understand that our working culture is not as great as the Hollywood working culture. So sometimes actors might want to be strict and stand with certain things, and you would hear that this person is difficult to work with, that person is difficult to work with. But the truth of the matter is they're not even difficult to work with. They're just asking for the basic stuff like, please do not make me work beyond 12 hours on sets. So if an actor say, oh, I cannot work beyond 12 hours on sets, it's almost like you're being unreasonable. Meanwhile, this is just their right. Like, you cannot stress this person beyond 12 hours.
Yeah.
But in Nollywood, we know that our working environment is very, what's the word to use now? Our working environment can be very rigorous and too demanding. So sometimes you find yourself working 15 hours on a production set, and you just have to be understanding of the situation, because you realize that there is nobody that will set out to produce a film and will want to delay and sabotage their production. But when these things happen, you now have to extend grace to say, okay, I've seen that this is by no means a fault of yours. This is where I can compromise. So as an actor as well, too, you also have to be willing to compromise on certain things, even though you can be very strict about your things. So you cannot be entirely strict as an actor, because what that means is, you just and in the industry, things travel a lot in terms of news. You hear probably certain things, and it's almost like this person is a bad person. But no, these people are just asking for, can you communicate effectively? Don't keep me waiting on set for 8 hours without doing anything. I'm going to be restless. And when I'm restless, it affects my performance, amongst other things, right? So if you're asking for a proper communication, proper welfare, proper a very reasonable working hours, amongst other things, it's not that you're asking for too much. You're asking for just the basic things. But the way you're asking for it can be misconstrued as you being difficult. So you have to be diplomatic about the way you approach things and understand how best to discuss them.
Yeah.
So there is that too. Because when you now, the things that seems to be the norm in the industry, which are not supposed to be the norm, right? If you now decide to go against them, they can tag you as a difficult person to work with, and everybody will have something to say about you. But really, no, it's not that.
Yeah.
You can't have someone working, and then when you get to the part where they're supposed to take a break and have something to eat, and you don't even have food ready, amongst other things, right? And then you start complaining, and you say, I'm not going to go back on sets. I know your own, all you care about is just to get this job done because you've booked 5 days to shoot this thing, which is totally understandable. That if you go an extra day, you're incurring more expenses, and that could be that would eat into another new budget. But the least you could have done is to properly plan the shoots, just so that this are the time they have break. Before they go on their break, they already have food ready, they already have certain things ready. Oh, this is how to properly communicate. Oh, I'm sorry, due to certain unavailability of something, we cannot shoot this thing now, but we will be back. We will shoot it very soon. You probably have an holding room. We will be back. Just communicate. This is what people ask for. The basic things, the simple things. But really, you have to mind your mind the way you talk about this thing, so you're not tagged as being difficult. So there is that. And also too, I mean, there are different approaches to how a brand operates. Some brand might come out openly to categorically state that this is the person they're affiliated with, maybe a politician and whatnot. Sometimes it can backfire. It can work in your favor sometimes, but I feel like as celebrities, you indirectly put yourself in a position to be seen as a thought leader. So certain things that you do might influence other people's decision as well too. So you now have to carry yourself in a way that you are not passing on the wrong information and influencing people wrongly as well too. So these are also things too that can be very harmful in terms of being an actor and a celebrity in the industry. You cannot be too you cannot be too relaxed, and at the same time you also cannot be extremely bold or outspoken about certain things. You have to find a way to be diplomatic about these things. You have to give politically correct answers, not the direct answers. And these things can be very stressful, even as a talent manager as well too. I have to give politically correct answers and not the direct answers that I know I would have given on a normal day in my head. So being too outspoken, being too blunt, amongst other things, can be very harmful to an actor's career. You rather not say anything. I'd rather not speak. Better to say I'd rather not speak than to give an answer that could be misconstrued, amongst other things. So I feel like these are some of the things that can be harmful to the growth of an actor in the industry. all in all, as long as there is a talent and you keep putting in the work over time, they would all make up for your success story.
Yeah. Okay. So in terms of actors and what they offer, so the first thing is that they can act. There are other things that make them desirable for certain projects. So whether it is them knowing how to ride the horse or speaking an extra
Yeah.
language. For you, like, what are some of these developing trends? Like, okay, I understand that, over the past 3 years, there has been a surge in like production of local language content. So what are some
Yeah.
of these other trends that it'd be nice for kind of actors to kind of prepare and position themselves with?
Well, like I said in my Twitter live conversation, I said the period where you're not getting jobs is your waiting period, and your waiting period is for your self development. So you'd some actors, you'll be shocked they don't know how to drive a car, ride a bicycle, swim, maybe fight. It could be kung fu. It could be boxing. It could be what's that other word again? Martial arts. I think that's the kung fu too. So these are things that they have to learn while waiting. It's just very important that there is so much more to an actor. Singing, I mean, yeah, singing, public speaking, quite a number of things that they can learn, really. I mean, I've mentioned more than 5 that they can learn. The industry is moving towards a certain stage where we would have more action films come into the space. And at this point, I believe that people will start go for stunt training. So even if they're going to use a body double for you, you can still deliver to a reasonable amount of maybe 50%, 60% performance. And whatever the body double is doing is just Jara on top. So yeah, these are things that they can learn. It's important that your self-development doesn't end there. You still get to learn more about acting. You can take acting classes, how to emote for the screen, how to improve, how to interpret characters, amongst other things. The knowledge is infinite. So regardless of how good you think you are, you still have to learn more. You take on monologues that are very daunting, challenging, and inspiring. It's you can even learn how to direct, because a great actor can also be a great director. So when you know you can act well and you can direct yourself to act well, you can possibly direct other people to act well too. So these are things that they can add to their portfolio to say, oh, I'm a voice, what's it called? Voice actor. I can sing, I can dance, learn how to dance salsa, other dance as well to speak other languages. It's just a wide range of things that they can add to their portfolio that makes them different from other people to say, oh, these are all the things that comes with me coming to the table. It's not just about the acting. I come readily prepared. I can speak 3 languages. I can speak 4 languages. I can speak Yoruba, English, French, Igbo, Hausa. It's all these things all make up for the value that you bring to every project that you find yourself on. So you understand that you can serve in any industry, and not that you always come prepared, because most of the skills that they feel like you now need to acquire, you already have them during your self-development process. So it helps you to come ready for any project that you find yourself on.
Okay. All right. So at this point, can you mention 3 random facts about yourself?
3 random facts about 3 random facts about myself. This is a very tough question. Why is it a tough question? Because you're asking about myself. Does that mean I don't know myself enough? 3 random facts about myself. I love love, even though I come up as a hard guy. Not random. Well, not really. It's not random. Second, I am too emotional to the point where I am not happy if my people are not happy. So somehow my great days have been tied to the emotions of the people that I work with, and my not so great days have been tied to the emotions of people that I work with. So when they are happy, if I'm having a great day, it's because my people are happy. They are getting
Yeah.
jobs. I'm not having a not so great days because my people are literally sad or whatnot. So yeah, there is that. That's another random fact. Third random facts. I'm trying to rack my head and think of one. I don't know. I don't know what the third random fact is. So, saying I enjoy traveling is not a random fact because I think most people that know me would know that I possibly enjoy traveling a lot. So I
Yeah.
don't know if that's much of a random fact. Well,
Uh,
I
okay,
think I
so
think
what's like where is the best place you've been to?
the best place that I've been to, the best country that I've visited. Well, I mean, every country would always come with its own memories. So I really can't say this is the best place that I've been to. Really, I really can't say this is the best place I've been to because they all offer different experience, and not one experience is greater than the other one. Because the only way you can say this one is greater than the other one is if you're doing side to side comparison. It's like me
Mm.
eating your jollof rice and eating another person's jollof rice. I can say, oh, this is the best jollof rice I've had. But if I'm eating fried rice here and I'm eating jollof rice there, really cannot make a very accurate comparison.
Yeah.
So every country that I've visited, I've always had one thing or the other thing that makes it stand out. So I really cannot say this is the best place that I've been to. If I probably would just say, if I was to pick, I probably would say Dubai because it gives me like there is an endless options of activities that I can do. Do you
Yeah.
understand? But again, in other countries too, it's like that. But I just kind of like, I don't know, there's just something really, really fascinating and relaxing about that country that I really like. But that doesn't make it better than every other places that I've been to. I mean,
Yeah.
if I'm to easily pick, I would say where I can be closer to my family, and that would be United Kingdom, where I have
Mm.
my siblings. So yeah, that's it.
Okay. I mean, you were executive producer on Mami Wata.
Yeah.
So how did you join the project? At what point?
Well, the funny thing is how I joined the project was pretty much funny. It was just a case of having being a people's person. It's very important. Community is it's an important tool for growth. So the producer Oge had talked about, so they had spoken to someone about having a film in development and needing funding. Then the person she was speaking to said, "Oh, I think I might know someone that might know someone," and that's how the person that person knows ended up knowing someone that knows me and said,
Mm.
"This is it." And then they brought it to my table, and I'm like, "Okay, these people are known filmmakers in Nollywood. How do I think they would be needing funding and be speaking to someone like that? It doesn't sound real to me."
Yeah.
But I saw the pitch deck, and it was a beautiful film. I knew that this was something I wanted to be a part of because they were doing something different, and I like to be part of projects like that. I've never, for one, been a fan of doing something because everybody's doing it. It's I have to do it because I'm convinced beyond reasonable doubt that this is going to happen. I enjoy doing this. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So when the Mami Wata came to my table, I looked at it, I looked at the prospect of the project, and I was convinced that it's something I wanted to be on. But I had a few questions which I asked CJ, and he gave me the answers that I needed, which were very satisfactory. I asked my partner at the time too as well, to get in Salvador, like, what do you think about us going on this project? And like, we've gotten quite a number of no's that were like, no, this is too much of a great risk to go on. But
Mm.
the more no's I got, the more it strengthened my belief to go to the more it reaffirmed my own yes, that the more no's I get, the more my yes was emboldened, because at that point I knew that a lot of people will not see the vision, and it really doesn't matter as long as you see the vision and you can pull it off, then by all means go for it. Because if everything in this world was working off the fact that you're getting yes for you're getting yes from everyone, you wouldn't really be here to witness the innovations that the world has witnessed. Every innovation that we have came from someone taking differently from the crowd. So when you deviate from the crowd and you decide to think differently, to do something differently, and it works out, eventually you find your own people that will join you on that journey. But the first step is with you to take that step, that I am leaving the crowd to stand apart and do something different. And that is where innovation is formed. And this felt like one of those innovative projects for me. Oh, it's been shot in black and white. Oh, really? Yeah, I've seen black and white movies. And a story like that being told in black and white was very phenomenal. It was a very beautiful decision to make. For you to tell a folklore in black and white, I had to commend that decision was one of the best decisions that CJ made. And saying all of these things, for people that know me, they know that I would always find the hole in everything that everyone is doing. Not necessarily trying to talk it down, but when I'm saying I'm finding the hole, I'm looking for a way to penetrate into the market. So everybody's shooting maybe epic now. Because everybody's shooting epic, I would not do it. I would find a leak and then penetrate into that, just so I can differentiate myself from everyone, and then everyone can now decide to follow on the path that I've been able to penetrate into just by me finding a leak. And that's the same thing with Mami Wata too. In a beautiful cinema where colors are everything, you see a black and white movie that just stands out and calls your attention. I mean, you've seen a lot of colors, so they're almost looking alike. There's no way you will not notice a black and white movie because it just stands out from the colors. And that's the rule of zigzag. When the crowd goes zig, you go zag. But you have to be knowledgeable enough to know how you want to go zag. So you have to equip yourself with the knowledge. So you're not just doing something out of the ordinary without taking calculated risk. So going on Mami Wata project was, of course, a journey that at the time was a big risk, but more like a calculated big risk. Whether succeed or fail, I would have always been proud of the decision we made to go on the project Mami Wata. So yeah, that's it.
Okay, and this film is quite special in terms of offering the Nigerian audience and representing Nigeria to the world in terms of the diverse stories that Nigeria has to offer. For you, like, why is diversity important?
So you know what they say, varieties is the spice of life. Right? And it gives us endless options to enjoy. Diversity is important because we all cannot be a lover of rice. We all cannot be a lover of beans. There has to be varieties to choose from. It helps us to have a very large audience. It helps us to innovate. It helps us to be more creative because there are no limits to what you can think and execute. It gives us the creative freedom that we need to tell emboldened stories that has never been heard of before. Diversity is the reason why Squid Game existed, and that's why it's one of the biggest movies to come out of Netflix. It was an entire concept. It doesn't seem like something that is applicable in real life, even though it might be applicable in real life, but it didn't seem like it. And that's the need for diversity. Diversity helps people to think freely without boundaries. Knowing that someone has been given the opportunity to tell a story differently, to do something differently, would help embolden you to go ahead with your own choice too. That might seem crazy at the time, but guess what? Art exists in a very free form that allows your thoughts to roam wild and free and crazy and whatever it is you think it is. or the painter Jean Basquiat, you could look at his painting and think, what rubbish nonsense painting is this? Because the way his illustration comes on his canvas is very different from most other paintings that you would have seen. But guess what? Makes him one of the best artists out there. That's the need for diversity. Diversity gives us varieties, gives us limit. It makes the possibilities endless.
Yeah.
And that's what we need.
Definitely.
And that's one thing that Mami Wata offered too. It showed that whatever it is you're thinking you want to do that might seem crazy, it's not really crazy. That they are not saying it now doesn't mean you're crazy. Don't worry. Just go ahead and do it. They will come to align with your purpose for doing it.
Okay. You mentioned that you're emotional, and when your people are not happy, you're also not happy. In terms of Mami Wata has recorded a lot of wins. For you, what was the proudest moment on this journey with Mami Wata?
My proudest journey with Mami Wata has been every possible accolade that he has gotten ever since he came into the limelight, starting with Sundance up until this moment that he received 11 nominations for AMVCA. Every moment has been proud for me because it's always a testament to the fact that I'm not crazy to have ignored the 99.9% no's that we got to be on this project. Yeah, so this is doable. Yeah. So every moment has counted as a moment of victory for me.
All right. At this point, I want you to mention that one film or series that you're always happy to rewatch.
Well, there are quite a number of series that I would have watched, but it's very simple. So if you go on my Twitter profile and you go to my media, there's one person that reoccurs every time. Most of the time that I use as meme. It's Raymond Reddington. So Blacklist is one of my favorite all-time series. And I think the reason why I like Blacklist is the strategy, his approach to solving problems, the way he invests in people. So Raymond Reddington is a crazy guy that invests in people, even though he has ulterior motives as to why he's investing in people, but it's still a beautiful thing to see that he invests in people just so they can pay him later on. And that's the thing with investing in people. When you invest in people, you equip them with the tools that they need that might serve a greater purpose to you later on. It might or might not serve, but at least you know that this ground is covered. Peradventure, there is a need for this thing. I have this person. If you teach someone how to farm, you're literally teaching them how to bring food to their table. On days when there is famine in your house, someone that you have taught how to farm would have food that might be enough for you, for them and your family. If you teach someone how to fish, you're teaching them how to make food as well too. So that's one of the things that I love about Blacklist. Even though he's a bad guy, he's a very lovable villain. But the fact that this person invests in people, he goes around teaching people stuff because he knows that they will need them later on in life, is something that I like about him. And I like the fact that he treated death like his best friend. He was never afraid to walk into a situation that might kill him, but he would still walk into that situation with confidence. And that's the kind of person that I am too. When people really talk about death and all of that, I really do not necessarily feel fear. I'm just always like, okay, so what? You've recognized that this thing is inevitable. Everybody must experience it at some point. So why the hell should I be scared of it? My only worries might just be, oh, this shouldn't happen before my parents and whatnot, right?
Yeah.
Other than that, I'm totally fine with it. It just helps you to embrace the entire concept of life, that life is never ending, but your life, your time on earth has an expiry date.
Yeah.
And you just have to remind yourself to constantly live in the moment and to invest in people, because these are the pleasant memories you'll be living in the mind of people when you're gone.
Okay, talking about investing in people, can you tell us more about the Guguru Excerpts program?
Okay. Well, Guguru Excerpts program is one of my passion projects that I'm really, really passionate about, right? Um, uh, we always like to think that we do not have a story problem in Nollywood, but
Yeah.
as much as we think that we don't have a story problem in Nollywood, we keep seeing this almost the same set of stories, making it to a big screen every time. And then I wonder, so if you don't have a story problem in Nollywood, why do we keep seeing almost the same stories every time? And then it struck me that okay, maybe there is a story problem that we're not trying to admit to. Okay, if there's a story problem, how then do we best solve it? How do we give these people platforms to shine? And that is when the idea for the Guguru Excerpts program struck me, because I realized that we do not have shortage of writers in Nollywood.
Yeah.
But writers do not get to shine as much as the actors, the directors get to shine. They really do not have the platforms that allows them to shine. If there is a movie that blows today, the actors will be known more than the writers. And I believe that the writers are also responsible for how an actor blows in the industry, because if the writing doesn't exist, the performance from the actor would not exist.
Yeah.
So this is a foundation problem. How do we solve it from the foundation? And I'm like, okay, we have writers. The best thing we can do is let's bridge the gap between the writers and the end consumers, who are the investors. Let's give them a program that can help them shoot excerpts from their scripts to have something to present visually, because saying something might never be enough. Sometimes a story might not be beautiful on script until it's on screen. So if they have a vision for their project, let's interpret it on screen. And by so doing, they can get more visibility, because when people see this, oh, where is the entire script for this beautiful stuff? It can lead up to a conversation that eventually leads up to funding for that project. And that's how the Google Excerpts program came to life. It's a thing that is trying to mirror more stories, because it's almost like maybe the reason why we keep having the same stories is because people are too lazy to do the work of looking for stories that are different. But maybe if there's a platform that already showcases all these things easily for them, maybe they can always go on the platform just to look at what is available and then decide that, okay, we can tell these stories. Do you understand? Okay, we can tell this one, because someone has already simplified the job of putting together the synopsis, the logline, and then an excerpt for it to be visual, for you to see. And maybe by seeing the visuals, you can make a better informed decision to say, from the visuals, I see what the vision of this writer is. Then I think I want to invest in this thing. And not just shooting, we're also trying to take it a step further by organizing an exhibition for these excerpts, inviting industry stakeholders, key players, amongst other people, to come and watch the lineup of excerpts that we've shot from the submitted stories, just so they can now make the decision to say, oh, based on the excerpts that I've seen, I'd like to see the full script and see if I can possibly invest in it. So I think it's it's never enough to complain about certain things. What are you doing to provide solution to that thing? And that is what we're trying to do with Google Excerpts program, to provide solution to the lack of diverse and innovative storytelling in Nollywood, and to create a platform for writers to be seen and to shine, and to know that when actors are being thought of, writers are also being thought of as well too. And by investing in people, you can grow a community of better writers, because from that point, you can bet, oh, this is what your project, this is what your script is missing. They can go into script development program as well too, that would help them to become better writers and serve the industry better, because the growth of the industry cannot happen at the top. It has to happen from the grassroots. And when you're talking about the grassroots, it starts with the writers. So how then do we showcase these writers that have great ideas but don't know how to execute it? Is by putting their stuff up there for more people to see, for more visibility, so the right people can see it and then make informed decisions to take it further. So yeah, that's it.
Okay. Well done. It's really nice idea.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I mean, see, I'm of the opinion, like, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, then go together. So because the reason why I'm saying this is because someone looked at how much money went into producing the excerpts, and like, you could have just used this thing to shoot a short film. And I'm like, so what does that do to the industry? That's me thinking about myself. So if I use this thing to shoot something for myself, it starts and ends with me. So why do I do that when I can use it to enrich the lives of like 10 other people? And if these 10 other people have better stories to tell in Hollywood, right? We can get more funding for these 10 stories. And from these 10 stories, you can get 100 stories and increase our value. And by extension, if I have anything to put out there too, the value would have increased, because now they can offer us more money because they've seen the value that we bring to the table. So if the value happens with everybody, it's a lot more better, because it cannot just happen with me alone. And that is what an industry needs. We need more leaders at the top that can hold the best interest of the entire filmmaking industry at heart, and not just their own best interest. Do you understand? These people have to work in the best interest of the industry and not work in their own best interest. So if I'm saying that I'm making the decision, I'm not making this decision because it's favoring me. I'm making this decision because if the industry is growing, I am definitely going to be grow. I am definitely going to have growth in every areas of my life as well too. But if I'm just focused on myself alone, that is just me, one out of a million. So how then do people want to come in and prefer solutions, offer better investments, if it's just 2 out of 1 million people growing? Do you understand? For private investors, for foreign investors to come into an industry, they need to see that you have varieties, there is diversity in the storytelling. Do you understand? And that is what will bring them into the industry. So if I'm not focusing on that, and I feel like only me alone can get this thing, then I'm not trying to get more, because I am going to be settling for less. And because it makes me better than the next person, I would think that I'm doing a great job. No, that's not how it's supposed to be. I'm not supposed to say, because as long as I'm getting 100,000 profits, it doesn't matter if any other person is not getting. But no, if I can do a work that would now make us get 1 million profits as individuals, is a lot more better than me just relying to get 100,000 for myself. And that is the problem of people wanting to see you do good, but not better than them. That is the problem. They want to see you good. They don't want you to be better than them, because they want you to be at their mercy. But I really do not think that is the way we should go. I feel like the industry should have collective growth. It shouldn't stay at a certain level. It's supposed to trickle from the top to the bottom, not stay at the top. And then these people would be the one that will now feed crumbs to the people at the bottom. No, carry everybody along and let's grow together. It's for the betterment. The music industry has the creative freedom, has diverse players, has diverse sounds, and that's why you would see foreign record labels like UMG, Empire, Sony Music, and the likes come into the country. RCA take up on our artists because of the diversity in our sounds, the creative freedom that these music artists have. We do not have that in Hollywood, because not a lot of talents are being discovered. If we have influx of writers that are very talented and are allowed to tell bold stories the way they want to, instead of telling them what to tell, the industry will grow beautifully.
Yeah. Okay, so Guguru Media also does marketing. So, like, for you, what do you think the film industry is missing out of in terms of bespoke marketing campaigns for our films?
So I think so we have to understand that film marketing is not the same as every other product marketing. Film marketing is very needy and attention grabbing. Why do I say this? Is because one size doesn't fit all. It's like you have mentioned, bespoke marketing. We are yet to get it right in that aspect, because hardly would you see a very well thought, put together marketing strategy for a movie. I think the last time I saw something that could be commendable was Dead Serious. And that's because they did an exponential marketing for Dead Serious, where they had Sabinos on a billboard on the road.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that, for Showmax. I think that's a very beautiful marketing campaign. That's very exponential. It was intentional, because it was trying to show that he's dead serious about trying to get Sharon Uja's attention.
Yeah.
If we have more of that for our film marketing, it would really be beautiful. But there isn't so much of that out there. Every film has a soul that you have to tap into in order to meet its target audience, because audience always have a connection to a great movie. As a marketer, as a film marketer, you first of all have to find the soul of that movie and then find a way to now connect it to its audience.
Yeah.
Just so that there's a connection as to why they are going to watch the movie. It could be an emotional connection, like a mother lost her child and now she's on the verge of revenge. People that have lost someone might see the need for that connection and want to see it just to see themselves in that person. Do you understand? You have to find the soul of your movie to sell it. You cannot just go the lazy route. Oh, let's do premiere. After a fashion team premiere, after the fashion team premiere, you now carry the actors to go and be doing meet and greet at the cinema. Lazy. It's way bigger than that.
Yeah.
There has to be a rollout of marketing strategy for the movie, right from the pre-production stage up until the production stage, up until the post-production and release at the market. There has to be a well thought out plan as to how you want to connect this film to its target audience.
Yeah.
And that is not true. Team premieres will just give you the visibility. Everything has to be, you're doing this for visibility, you're doing this for conversion, you're doing this thing for cinema attendance. Do you have plans for everything? So yeah, marketing for film is very broad and it has to be intentional, not just one size fits all. Let's do a premiere and meet and greet and Instagram and Facebook ads, and that's where it ends. No, that wasn't the case with Dead Serious. Dead Serious had a exponential marketing strategy with Sabinos and what they did. More of that should be encouraged.
Yeah. Okay. You talked about target audience. Lots of distributors in Nigeria double as the marketers of the film. Do you think they are doing enough to actually know the audience and what the audience wants?
You see, this thing is a thing of knowing but not doing. So distributors have the greatest data that they need to market their films. So when you can read data, then you should know what the target audience are, who the target audience are, what their interest is, and how best to reach them. So the problem here is lazy work, because a great distributor, because as a marketer, the best thing you can work with is data insights that would help you make informed decisions as how best to approach this thing, right? But if a distributor is the marketer and they are still doing lazy, they're still not eating the goals with their marketing strategies, and there's a problem. They bank on existing audience. They bank on the fact that we probably have the biggest outlets when it comes to cinemas, the biggest cinema chains and whatnot. And that's not enough, because you're not supposed to be relying on your existing audience. You're supposed to be working on creating new audience every other day, right? Reaching new audience every other day. But if you're not doing that and just relying on your existing audience, then that's lazy work, because you're not doing the work. There's no excuse for what they do, because having the data is all the tool you need to be equipped to deliver a better marketing strategy, because you're not just doing marketing from the top of your head. This is a decision that is guided by data insights. And data-driven campaigns can fail, but at the same time, you know that you're not acting blindly on these things. But the possibility of it failing is not so great compared to it succeeding. So no, they are not. They might be doing the lazy work, but they are also in the best position to. I think they just need to entrust their marketing department with capable hands who understand the job of film marketing, and also provide them with the budgets to carry out the plans and execute them. That's about it. I've been involved in a couple of film marketing for indie filmmakers, and as much as the budget have been so great, I was able to deliver on it, right? There was a point where I worked on the film that went to the cinema. It didn't have so much of a great cast at the time. he had only Uzo and Jemima Osunde as the two top cast in the movie. But I delivered on the marketing because it was a film that mirrored on postnatal depression and amongst other things, and how pregnancy can cause depression, and it's not also rosy. Like cute babies are cute to have, but the hard part is taking care of them, right? And we did an exponential marketing that had people holding up what's it called, banners in traffic talking about, oh, being a man is not just about getting the woman pregnant. Can you stand the baby's cry at night? Amongst other things that sensitize the general public. And when we looked at the data that we got from the places where these campaigns went up, with the woman dressing, we had people dressing as a pregnant woman and holding the banner in traffic. Definitely you would want to read what this person is. Why is a pregnant woman holding up a banner in traffic? And you're reading the inscriptions like, to become Papa Bomboy easy. You feel pack Bomboy sheets for nights. Do you understand those kind of thought-provoking copies on it? And you're saying the reason why this thing is happening is because there's a movie that is being campaigned. There's a movie that is currently shown at the cinema that they need you to watch to learn a lesson. The turnout was impressive because they were seeing it and they were curious to know, okay, let's go and see this movie. And the producer literally commended our effort. I'm like, no, this is brilliant. This is like, I wonder what you would have done if you had more budget to work with. So again, a film has a soul that you have to understand and see how you can connect it to the audience. We went online, we put up a post online to talk about, there was a part where Uzo was talking about, this is mere pregnancy that is stopping you from finding work. Like your wife is pregnant and you're pressuring her to get a job because you feel like you are under pressure to pay all the bills. And then the part where you talk about mere pregnancy, we found a page that has a target audience of pregnant, married people, single, engaged people, to put up that post and get people's reaction as to their pregnancy stories. And people started sharing their pregnancy journey, things they went through. And these stories made it like it was literally a mixed. We asked about how having a supportive in-law has helped their pregnancy journey. People had stories to share. So this is emotions people are sharing. And that's because they were able to connect to the story. And that's because as the marketing strategy for that film, I was able to find the soul of that story, to connect it with the audience, to get them to talk about it. And as much as they talk about it, other people will be interested in to see the movie. Like, why would you even talk to your wife like that, like mere pregnancy? So again, it is understanding the terrain in which you operate to be able to deliver. So yeah, that's about it, really.
Okay. So distribution in Nigeria and in the West works differently in the sense that, let's say you take your film to a festival and a distributor, they vibe with it. They think it's going to be a hit with their audience, and they go into an agreement. Versus here in Nigeria, where even in terms of putting money, like distributors don't tend to do that. Do you have an idea why that is the case?
Well, I think that we operate in different terrains, right? And because we operate in different terrains and different ecosystems, right, a lot of things might seem like the norm here. And over there is different. There are certain things that indie filmmakers get to enjoy over there that they cannot get to enjoy over here. And that's because the first thing is the ecosystem. The ecosystem, the structure, the platforms are not there. We do not have an enabled ecosystem that helps us to understand these things, because again, distributors over here would most likely make you feel like, oh, they have a say in the kind of stories that you should tell, the faces that should be in your story, and the cinema windows. It's a very slippery slope that you have to be very careful as to how you tread it. So when you try to compare, right? Indie filmmakers don't get a lot of funding for their projects. So it's either the big studios are producing or indie filmmakers are producing. There are different budgets. Over there, the indie filmmakers get funding, so they tell the stories that they want easily, and the distributors knows that they have to also to get these jobs. They have to also to that. It is when they make money that you make money. So they already have a structure. So over here, the lack of structure is the reason why these things are there. There's a structure that forbids a distributor from leaving the marketing efforts to the producer, then definitely they would know that you have to, as a distributor, you have to come to me with certain amount of money to say, I have 10 million to market your film. You should give it to me. Another person say, I have 15 million to market your film. You should give it to me. The competition is fierce. But over here, the competition is not fierce. Do you understand? The competition is very little. So it's very easy for people to act like gods, like they are doing you a favor, because where is the competition? Compared to a country where there is structure and the competition is all over the place, you know that you have to also to go out to get these jobs. You know you have to also to go out to get these films to distribute, because that is where your percentage comes from. And there has to be an advance payment to the filmmaker to say, peradventure your film doesn't make it, you still have this thing as security, this fee that I'm paying you as security. It's all in structure. But over here, like I said, the ecosystem is not that big to allow room for fierce competitions that will now make this person want to go out and also to get films to distribute, because one way or the other, it would always come to their table, because where else do you want to show it? How many what's it called? How many distributing channels do we have in this country that you would want to do shakara and say, I cannot give it to this one, I cannot give it to that one? One way or the other end up on their table, and that's the reason why it's like that. So when you know that you don't have to stress to get something, it gives you the bargaining power to say, okay, I don't have money to promote your project, you really want to promote it yourself. And you know that if you don't dance to their tune, how many options is available to you? Not so much. So at the end of the day, you have to dance to their tune. So really, the major problem is the lack of competition, lack of fierce competition.
Okay. All right. So my next question is about how the film industry can improve. I know you've mentioned different things, but for you, what should be the top priority in terms of, kind of upgrading or improving this industry?
So I still said this thing yesterday. For the film industry to improve, there has to be a diverse storytelling. There has to be funding and program. There has to be structure. The federal government parastatals that are entrusted with the responsibility of making sure that our the creative industry, particularly the movie industry, thrives and functions, has to understand their primary responsibility and do it diligently by providing the structure that allows for easy distribution of films, providing structure that tackles piracy. The UK, for example, you can access certain sites due to the what's it called? You can access certain sites where to download movies illegally. They have been blacklisted. All you need to do as a filmmaker is to notice that this thing is, you can download movies illegally on this particular site. All you need to do is send it to a certain email, and it will be added to the blacklisted site. The same way the governments were able to ban us from accessing Twitter. Same thing can apply to all these Naija and whatnot, just to ban them. That is where structure comes in. They need to work with other industry to make that happen. Maybe it's the NCC or whoever is involved in choosing what websites works in Nigeria. Do you understand? Provide an email where people can easily report piracy and whatnot, and see how these things happen, right? Low interest loans for filmmakers, student programs for filmmakers, where you have students film competitions that provides, like, one of the commendable things that we have in the film industry is Multi-Choice Talent Factory, which is a very commendable program. We have Ebony Life Creative Academy too, but let's duplicate Ebony Life Creative Academy into the 35 other states and see how we would have a growing economy, because now we have diverse storytelling, because there are other filmmakers from other states as well too that are telling both stories of their region that is making it to the mainstream.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Lagos is the LA of filmmaking, right?
Mm.
But it doesn't mean that everything has to happen within Lagos. So for the industry to go, we need to invest in people. When people are equipped with funding, they do not need to be told what story to tell. They tell the stories that they want to tell, because no investor is determining this is the story I want you to tell, because this is how I feel my money is secured. Do you get my point?
Yeah.
And with diverse storytelling comes the varieties that appeals to the international market. That is the same thing that happens in the music industry.
Yeah.
Diverse sounds that has found new audiences in other countries. And by extension, these people have seen that this is a gold mine. Let's come here and dig gold. The same thing has to happen in the movie industry. Have thought leaders who hold the best interest of the entire industry at heart, and not just the interest that services their pockets.
Yeah.
If one person, if like 10 people are doing Guguru Excerpts program, we would discover more writers, we would discover more stories that needs to be told. If another person is doing story development, these stories that have been discovered can go into developments, because a story can be beautiful and fail in its execution. That's why you see some stories, you can see the intention, but the execution is poor and it just fails. So there's another development program that helps put you through the execution of telling such amazing stories. That's building an ecosystem that helps everybody become better. And when you can tell these things, there is so much more to offer to the international market, because saying we have more cinema outlets and whatnot is just us servicing our immediate community, our country. But the real money is to be made from exporting our movies to the international markets. Let there be more demand for this thing. Let it go mainstream into Hollywood. Let it make news in Hollywood. Let it go into Oscar and compete with other countries. So yeah, investing in people, the government has to invest in people, provide low rates loans with an extended period of time to pay back. There has to be structure in terms of business structure for filmmakers to say, oh, this is what we do. This is how we make money. It's an enabled ecosystem. Let each local government have a way that they have certain places that you can use to shoot. In New York, other, not even just New York, other countries, the moment you want to shoot in a certain area, all you have to do is go and apply for a permit at the local government.
Yeah.
When you pay the permits, they will be the ones to put notice on that road that every car parked on that road should be cleared, because there are certain activities that will be happening on this road for filming. Do you understand?
Yeah.
And that is how you provide an ecosystem for the growth of the creative industry. And when you go, you just see the notice like, oh, so and so production. You already see the name of the production, time and everything. And the people on that road will park their car somewhere else just to create that environment for them to be able to carry out their filming activities easily. That's the ease of doing business.
Yeah.
So again, just like the country is not moving forward because we have selfish leaders that are at the top that are not acting in the best interest of the people. We have the same in Nollywood too. So for the Nollywood movie industry to grow, the government has to step in to do their job like they're supposed to. One, our thought leaders have to be passionate about the people in the industry more than they are passionate about the growth of their pockets, because you want to lord over people. It doesn't work that way. Collective growth would help us go far. That's the reason why we are second largest movie producing country, but somehow we are still underrated, because certain people are going fast instead of everybody coming together to go far. And that's why you see only certain people are growing fast. That is it. The entire industry is going to suffer from it. But as long as certain people are making the money, it really doesn't matter to them. But if everybody is about the business of the entire industry, we would all go far. We would all have more to show for it. We would all have more. The collective responsibility of everyone is to be a partaker in the development of our dear film industry, and not just the development of our pockets.
Yeah. Okay. So are you currently working on anything?
Depending on what you're asking about.
In terms of Guguru Media.
Yeah, we have certain projects in development which we've not really decided on. I mean, there's certain factors that decides what to work on. One of which is budget, one of which is timing, amongst other things. But yeah, but right now we just have projects in development. We've really not put out a word as to which one we're embarking on next. We're taking our time. We're still very much in the first quarter of the year, so maybe like towards the end of second quarter or the beginning of the third quarter, we might have an announcement to make as regard to our next project. But right now, we just have projects in development. We are more focused on enriching lives through talent development and fostering growth through the Guguru Excerpts program, which is investing in people in Hollywood.
Yeah. Okay. How can people keep up with what you're up to and your views?
Well, I mean, you would always find me most likely on my Twitter ranting and showing my passion for the growth of my gear industry, which is my Twitter at Mr. Mautin. And if you're looking to see just pictures and less of my ranting, you find me on Instagram at the same Mr. Mautin, MRMAUTIN. Yeah, that's about it. That's how people can keep up with me. If I have announcements to make, you probably find it on Google Media page. If I have announcements to make regarding our projects, you find it on Google Media page. Yeah, that's about it.
Okay. Thanks, Mr. Mautin, for coming on the podcast.
You're welcome. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
We have come to the end of this episode. Remember to rate and review the podcast. You can also follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Selegov Film and the podcast at the Naija Film Pod to share your feedback. You can now support the podcast by visiting the website to donate. See you on the next episode. Have a good one.